I just got out of the shower and I think I hate this video. This is crazy. Why am I rubbing my forehead so much? Anyways, roll the clip, roll the tape. I decided to draw YouTuber 3FS every day for 1 week. You might be asking yourself, Addie, why would you do such a thing? Why would you do that? And the fun answer is because I wanted to, but the serious answer is because I really wanted to challenge myself. I'm lying. I don't know why I want to do it. I'm lying. So, over the next 7 days, I decided to draw one person. That one person being Max, 3FS, the great guy. He's awesome. Watch his videos. Go, do it right now. What are you doing? What are you doing here? Why are you listening to me? But not only will I be drawing him every day, each expression I draw will get more and more difficult, with day 1 being the easiest and day 7 supposedly being the hardest. I think my parents are home. Oh, this is embarrassing. I will be back. I will be back. Yeah. This is really embarrassing. Nice, simple. So I wanted to do some sort of like very flabbergasted, like some sort of effect to show my references for this. Nice flabbergasted FS. There it is. I don't know how to use Adobe Premiere Pro. This is my first time ever using it. I have no idea what I'm doing, so I'm just gonna pop the picture up on the screen whenever it happens. This video with just a little shocked FS. Nothing too difficult, he's just looking straight at you, it's a front view. He's got a relaxed face, you know, not too many expressions or wrinkles. I don't have to draw any teeth or anything like I do in the later days, which was a nightmare, but we'll get to that. Be wondering why some grass just showed up in the top right corner. That is because my cat gets whatever she wants, and she wanted to chew on some grass. Not only did I start off with a really simple reference for this one, but I also didn't put like an incredible amount of detail into this drawing. I didn't know what I was going to be doing for the duration of this challenge, so I kind of was like, nah, I'll just keep it simple, not push myself too much just for day 1, because I'm sure that I would make the rest of the week incredibly difficult, which I did. I started watching 3FS back in May of 2025 when I saw the Huntsman Spider video. I had never watched any sort of horror content before, and I was terrified of spiders, so it was kind of impossible to watch. But I was watching it while I was drawing, so I wasn't like looking at the screen as much, so it made it a lot easier. But I am so used to, you know, being on the internet with YouTubers who just cuss their mouths out. They're just like beep, 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 beep. Every other second they're just cussing. So being a first-time watcher, I didn't know that he didn't curse. So I'm watching or I'm listening and I'm like ready for this guy to just drop the F-bomb or something. And I'm like mentally preparing myself like, okay, he's gonna say something because he's gonna get scared and he's gonna scream a profanity. But I was just amazed while I was watching it. It really like got my attention. I was like, this guy is not cussing. Like he's saying some silly things, but none of them are curse words. And that's what really drew me to the channel, was like, oh my gosh, this is family-friendly content, which is what I like. I don't like it when people cuss for no reason. So that was just amazing to me. I eventually lost the video and didn't find my way back to the channel for a few months, but then I eventually did, and then I watched all of the videos. Now I have a horror tolerance, which I didn't know I would get, but yeah, it's all worth it. Big 3FS fan, obviously. And I use a Jelly Roll pen just to put in those lovely eye highlights that really bring the life into it. I think I did too much with the highlights in this one because it looks like he's crying. I mean, maybe he is. I don't remember the context of that reference. And that is the end of day 1. At the end of each day, I end up using some Mod Podge and just sealing in the final drawing just so that I don't smudge it over the next day or the next week. Here is the reference for day 2. I used that little rolled up little dollar store paper smudge tool thingy to kind of put in my initial sketch. Even though the entire drawing is kind of just one big sketch, putting down those tones really does help me get an idea for where I'm going to be putting stuff. I did have to erase the hand at one point because I realized that I wasn't doing the perspective right and that the hand was actually a lot bigger than what it initially felt like. Day 2 is pretty easy. I was just getting a good feel for the challenge, good feel for the day. Day 1 definitely wasn't hard at all, so day 2 was kind of just like starting the engine up, like it wasn't bad at all. Definitely think day 2 shares like a bigger resemblance to Max actually, because the first one I think I kind of stylized it a little bit. It was kind of cartoony, didn't have a lot of detail. This one looked, in my opinion, this one looks a bit more like him. You'll notice for each of these drawings I have a little sticky note with a sketch up in the corner. Basically what I did was I got out my phone and put a sticky note over it, and I did a little tracing of my initial reference just so that I had a better idea of what it was I was drawing. I didn't really utilize this technique as much as I probably should have, but it was pretty helpful for just understanding the shapes that I was going to be drawing. This entire challenge I will be using primarily Blackwing graphite pencils. They're very smooth, very nice. They have a good range of, what's that called? Like the darkness of the lead. They have a very nice range to them. A bunch of different stiffnesses, and some are really soft, some are really hard. They blend really well. They're just overall fantastic pencils. And trust me, at the end of this challenge, I had gotten used to drawing those stinking headphones. Even later on when they get all the duct tape on them, oh my gosh, it's starting to drive me a little crazy. And because the culmination of all of this footage was 11 hours, I had to cut out so much drawing, and I had to speed everything up by stinking 20, 50 times sometimes. It was just so much footage. I was initially using CapCut to edit this whole thing, but it filled up my storage so fast that my iPad crashed and I thought it was gonna break. So I freaked out and I completely uninstalled CapCut, which had all my edited footage on it. And I was like, okay, great. I guess I'm starting over. I guess I'm using Premiere Pro, which I was not prepared to learn, but that's why this video has taken me 2 months to make, because I'm learning an entirely new software. Here's me using that nice Jelly Roll pen to put in those highlights. Definitely one of my favorite parts of the entire process, because it quite literally puts the life into the eyes. Then here's me using, why do I keep saying here's me? Then I started putting the Mod Podge on when I realized that I didn't draw the back of his chair, which kind of felt important for this specific drawing. So very quickly while that Mod Podge was drying, started drawing in the chair, did some hatching, trying to create that woven material look. I mean, it looks okay from far away. And that I believe is the end of day 2. Day 3. I started using a chip clip to pin down my surface, and here is the reference. You've got a very spooked FS. This day was relatively calm. It was a bit more challenging than the previous days, I'll just say that. It was quite a lot more challenging, but it definitely wasn't one of the worst days. And here I go again, not utilizing that sticky note that's over to the side. If you're able to get a good look at that sticky note, you can see that the head is at a completely different angle. Like, it's completely, how do I say this? It's completely rotated towards the left a bit more. Like, I have it too forward facing. So it doesn't completely match the reference. The expression still comes across correctly, but it's like, I don't know. I was just doing a really crappy job at paying attention to that. I think I was so in the zone with, technique and getting that shading down. I've gotten good with the shading and getting skin to look right and everything, but it's the proportions and getting that angle correct that's really stumping me. I think the roadblock that I hit is where I'm like, yeah, this is good enough. I don't have to worry about it. I did have to speed this footage up significantly more than the rest of the footage. This day took me a lot longer than the other days so far. At this point, I'm becoming quite familiar with Max's nose shape and eye shape and eyebrow shape because, day 3, I'm kind of like, all right, about halfway through. Definitely getting a hang of it, but I have no idea what is coming for me in the upcoming days because this is right before things hit the fan. The duct tape on the headphones actually wasn't too difficult to draw. It kind of depended on the perspective, but it's a nice, easy, reflective surface. I've never been too challenged by reflective surfaces. So, it being duct tape and just being kind of crinkled around, it wasn't too bad. Definitely added some nice depth. I don't think I've plugged my Instagram yet. My Instagram is Ray in a Rut. I go by Arco Creations, and I do multiple different things. So there's a lot of different accounts under Arco Creations, probably because I've made a lot of accounts and then just completely abandoned them. But the one, this one that I'm showing you right now, that's the one. That's the one. So if anybody's interested, please go give me a follow. This is when I realized I had completely skipped a page in my sketchbook, and that kind of stumped me because I was like, well, crap, I wanted it to be like one drawing after another, but I guess not. I was really annoyed by that. But we go on, we move on. That was supposed to be the end of the day 3, but I ended up actually working on it for like half an hour longer, and I had to speed up the footage by a ton more. Slap that Mod Podge on there, finally done. Put him in front of the fan. Day 4 was starting out just an awesome day. I made a good old quesadilla. I was watching some 3FS. I was in the zone. I was getting ready. I was like, yeah, I'm gonna get this. But no, I pick the worst. Like, with the hindsight that I have now, I just spit on my microphone. With the hindsight that I have now, I picked one of the most difficult references of my life, just on day 4, of course. And I didn't even know. I was just like, yeah, that won't be too hard. No, this was the worst day by far. Like, mentally, I was struggling so hard. I did all of this drawing. You'll see I sped it up by about 50 times. I did all of this drawing, and I swear, it was like I had a haze over my eyes, because when I pulled the reference up, I looked at it side by side. It was bad. Things were bad. And I just spent like an hour and a half, 2 hours on this crappy little drawing that I just ripped a piece of paper and just put some glue on it and just covered up the whole face. I was like, no. Excuse me. This is bad. This is really, I was like, no. So, drew a little grid type thing on his face, trying to figure it out. Something was just in my head that day. It was not an art day. If I was not doing this challenge, I wouldn't have drawn this day. I would have just been like, no, today's not the day. No. It's honestly really embarrassing to show this drawing because of how poorly it's even going after I'm trying to restart. It's just wrong. It's just wrong. Every aspect about it's wrong. Like the angle, the perspective, the proportions, everything was just so off. And you'll even see in the final product, it still doesn't really turn out right. It's okay. It's like if I drew that a few years ago, I'd be like, yeah, that's good. But it would definitely be something where I look at it a little while later and I'm like, wow, that's not good. That's total crap. But you see, I'm still gluing on some pieces of paper, trying desperately to fix my mistakes that wouldn't erase. Because after you just layer too much pencil down, it just stops erasing, and it's just not good. I wish I could say that this drawing turns a corner and it turns out better and it looks just like the reference and I did it and I persevered. I guess I did persevere because I kept drawing and I didn't just rip the page out and throw it at the wall and then start a fire with it and then start going a little crazy, you know? Like, I still did it, but that doesn't mean it looks good. I mean, if it weren't for the challenge I was doing, I would have taken a big old break and then come back to it a couple days later and then been like, wow, okay, I need to completely restart. But no, I'm really stubborn and I just was like, no, I need to do everything on time and stick to this schedule that I made up for myself in my head for this hypothetical video I was planning on maybe or maybe not doing, but I was committed, so I was probably gonna do it, you know, but it is what it is. See by now with how long I've spent trying to fix this thing and make it look normal that the lighting has completely changed because the sun went down. I had to turn my lamp on. It was just a mess, so I modge-podged over that thing and just called it quits. This was my face upon realizing that on day 5, I didn't record for an hour. The first hour of the drawing, I got nothing. I got none of that. So this day is called the blip for a reason. I had gotten a good amount of the face done. I was just working on the shirt. I got the microphone in. I was working on the headphones, and I still have a good amount of footage, but not as much if I start from the beginning, which you guys are probably happy about because we're already 20 minutes in. Hey, if you're here, comment the word. What should you guys comment? Comment meatball. Just comment meatball if you're still here. Issue that I'm seeing right now as I kind of critique my own art 2 months later is that the eyes are not correctly aligned. Like, there's definitely an alignment issue there where one of the eyes is like tilted incorrectly. And also something's up with those teeth. I hope I go back and I fix that because something's up with those teeth. I know that this video, I think I already said this, but it might be a little boring. I tried to speed the footage up a bit more, but it was just so jittery and it just was skipping a lot. It was not pretty footage, so I sped it up to the max that I could. Max. I sped it up as high as I could without it looking too jumpy. It's okay. I don't know what I expected. I had 11 hours of footage, so I think getting it down to about 50 minutes is actually pretty dang good, especially for somebody who's never used Premiere Pro before. Not to pat myself on the back, but this is good enough. This is good enough. Sorry, I'm eating a hard pretzel. Why do they call them hard pretzels? I understand, like, why, but I've never seen, like, bags of soft pretzels being sold in stores. Why do they call them hard? They're just pretzels. Went in adding some Jelly Roll pen to those pearly whites because his eyes are closed in this one, so there's no extra life that I can give him, which might be one of the issues I'm having with this drawing, is that there's the closed eyes, so the lack of glistening highlights is kind of throwing me off. Tried to do some creative, stylization with the microphone there, where I did something that my old art professor would probably call scumbling, where you just, kind of scribble around trying to give it some interesting texture. It is kind of foam-like, it's kind of convincing, but I don't know. I don't think I end up doing it again. That is the end of day 5. You know what's up. You know what I'm doing. Modge Podge. Putting some Modge Podge on there. And I had to, clamp down that piece of paper because it was curling up bad. Sorry about my microphone quality again, but I went into Procreate and I layered the drawing and the reference to see how well they line up, and that's not too bad. Oh, I'm getting hungry. It's not too bad. It's a little off, but it's alright. For day 6, I tried to do some preparing where I created some sort of grid-looking thing to measure the distance between the eyes, the nose, the top of the mouth, bottom of the mouth, and the chin. It kinda worked. I mean, it worked for its purpose. Hey guys, look at this. Just making sure you guys were awake there. The reason I had to try to be really quick this day was because I had a wedding to go to. It was a nighttime wedding, and normally that's around my drawing time. Watching this back, I can really just see a lot of issues with the structure and with just everything. I don't know any terms, like fancy art terms I could use to say that this just doesn't look right. But I mean, none of them up to this point really have looked fantastic, but I consider this to be practice. Yeah, but like I was saying, there is the issue with everything being kind of tilted back and the whole face needing to be moved to the left, like stretched to the left. Also, I'm seeing that a lot in the mouth. I think I might go back and fix that. I don't really remember what I did much this day. It's been so long since I actually did these drawings that I'm kind of, as I'm doing the voiceover for this, I'm like rewatching the footage and it's like, oh yeah, I forgot I did fix that. I think one major part that I don't end up fixing, which I kind of wish I did, was the hair does not have enough volume. Like, it needs to reach forward to match the diagonal angle that the face is supposed to be going at. Because again, it's following that curve that it shouldn't be following, and it needs to be going diagonal, you know, like, I don't know, it's, yeah, blah, 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 blah. I'm just yapping. I think I do end up realizing how just screwed up this portrait looks. I think I was just trying to be really fast because I had that wedding to go to and I was like, I don't have time to fix it. Eventually I do, like see, there's a big time skip here where I just decide to erase the whole mouth because I realized that there's such a like bad structure issue that it's just gotta all start over. At least with the mouth, just so it follows that same angle as everything else. But again, looking back, I would just redo the whole thing very differently. But I think after I had erased the mouth, I went and I like painted my nails and I was getting ready. And we didn't have to leave yet, so it was like right up to the buzzer when we had to leave while I'm like working on this thing and I'm like, I gotta get it done. Kind of creeping out of the uncanny valley territory. It's still it's still frightening. It's still a frightening drawing. But I remember, I think I do end up going back and trying my best to fix those eyes. I mean, when you look at them, the shape and everything is correct, but I don't know, something's off. I don't have like the expertise, I guess, to say exactly what it is that is off, but it's something, and I think I do recognize that. At this point, I actually had to go to the wedding, so here's me doing a little jig.
I can feel the music in my chest. I don't know where I am.
I did some drawings at the reception. Overall, it was a very nice time. We got home at about like 10 p.m.-ish, so, you know, it's dark. I'm tired. I've been around a bunch of people, but I am determined to get this stinking drawing finished on this day so that I complete this challenge and I can say that I did it in one day. I completely erased that one eye that was freaking me out, and I erased it again because it was still not quite right, and sometimes that's just what you gotta do. I think once we got home, I ended up working for another like hour and a half, 2 hours. It was like midnight by the time I was done. A lot of what I ended up doing at this point was just using my eraser and putting in those highlights, because that kind of is one of the most important parts, is differentiating the real darks and the real lights. One thing I really like about the black wing pencils that I use is this rectangular eraser. It's so good for getting in there and doing sharp edges. It's superior to circular erasers. That's such a weird sentence. Didn't realize that having my iPad on the screen changed the lighting so much, so that's my bad. After the longest day ever, I finally got to Mod Podge this stinking thing, and I kept getting little pieces of pencil shaving stuck into it, and it was a mess, but I did it, and it's fine, and we finally set this thing in stone, and I got to bed at, like 12:30 in the morning? Oh, and then I did the smartest thing ever, where before letting the Mod Podge dry completely, I put a piece of parchment paper to lay my hand down. And then when I pulled it up, it ripped a part of the face off. Yeah, that was a really, really good idea. So I had to, let that dry and then draw over that part again, and then try to make everything blend smoothly and make it not look like I'm a big idiot. But I don't think you can notice. So I just Mod Podged right over that again, and I did not put parchment paper down again. Oh boy. Now, I actually did some even better planning ahead for day 7, and I think this technique was the most successful out of all of them, which I should have been doing from the first place because I know better, but it's basically where you put a straight line down the middle and then you connect, like where you draw a straight line up from the corners of the mouth, and then at the bottom of the nose, at the center of the eyes, at the bottom of the mouth, and you just measure all of that to see where each piece kind of connects to each other. I'm sure it has a fancy art technique name, but I don't know it and I don't care. Did some basic blocking in and then kind of, smushed it all around with my finger and with that little paper tool. Put the mouth in. I think that this one started off with the most accurate proportions. Like all the other ones, I had to do so much erasing, but the lines that I did for this definitely helped. One thing that I've noticed watching over this video while doing this voiceover is that the drawings have just progressively gotten bigger. Like we started out with just like a little FS, just a little guy in the middle of the paper, and now his entire face is taking up the entire thing. It's also uncanny. Uncanny Valley territory yet again. And I'll put on some 3FS, get in the mindset, get in the mood. I believe this was his granny video, so put on a nice long video. These drawings just took a lot longer than I was planning, and this whole experience has made me realize the amount of practice that I need to be able to just like put something out in a somewhat short amount of time, whether that mean like an hour and a half or an hour instead of 3 hours. Like, I have a huge appreciation for people who are just like, let's draw a portrait in 45 minutes. Like, what are you talking about? I think overall I did get faster by doing this. Like, by day 7, I think that this drawing took significantly less time. I can't really say that like the entire challenge made me a faster drawer or anything. Drawer. A faster artist, I don't think so, because you guys saw the day before I had to go to that wedding, and I worked until 12 o'clock in the morning, so definitely didn't do very much in the long term, but it did give me some, insight of like, oh, okay, I'm not really all that. Like, I need practice. It just baffles me how when I was younger, and when I say younger, I'm only 20, so I mean like when I was 16, 17, 18, like just a few years ago, it just baffles me how I was able to make these portraits that I used to make, like these big paintings, and like I'll put some pictures up for sure, but like this used to be my thing. But then I kind of like, I kind of let myself relax a little bit, delved into more character design and some fun stuff, took a little break, and I just got so out of practice that it's like, man, how did I do that? If you've made it this far into the video, type hamburger. Just type hamburger and it'll tell me that you guys are actually making it through all this. And when I say you guys, I mean probably the, handful of people who are actually watching it, let alone the handful of people who have actually sat through all my rambling and made it this far, which I love you. If you've made it this far, I love you. Don't remember if I go back and I fix it, but I'm definitely seeing an issue with that left eye, with it being above the right eye and them not being completely aligned. Like, there's definitely an issue there that I really hope that I address and I actually go back and fix, but I have zero memory because all of this was 2 months ago. Hands are always so covered in graphite doing this. I have to like erase the whole next page because I'm just using the side of my hand and just smudging it. With that jelly roll again and just putting in some highlights. I've actually recently, for my birthday, I got some new white some new white pens, and they're actually a lot better than Jelly Roll. I know Jelly Roll's like 50-cent pens, but I've just been using them as if they're the best thing ever for so many years that when I actually got some sort of upgrade that, it's like oh, Jelly Roll sucks. I mean, good for beginners, but like I've been using Uniball, what's that called? Signo? I'll put a picture up. I've been using these new ones for a couple of days now, and it's like, oh wow, it actually doesn't fade after it dries. And I went in and I did the Mod Podging, and I took a deep breath because that finally was the end of day 7, the end of this challenge.
4, 3, 2, 1.
Here's all of the final drawings. I was really hesitant to like show the final like result at the end of each day because I kind of wanted the end of this video to be like a show off of everything that I did. But you guys saw. There's no hiding the end. Woo! It's been 2 months since I filmed the beginning of this video and since I did any of the drawings that you just watched 45 minutes of. Big shout out to you if you're still here. Goodness sakes, thank you. You have anything to say? Then, actually, as of yesterday, I was able to draw this, which I think is a pretty big improvement. I have more information about this specific drawing on my Instagram if you're interested in following me. My content is not... How do I explain this? I draw My Little Pony for fun sometimes, shamelessly, and so might not be your cup of tea, but it's just for fun, but I do stuff like this. I said doo-doo. I've just been thinking, because, I mean, yesterday was, okay, honey, no ping pong ball, no ping pong. So I've been thinking a lot because yesterday was my birthday, and I'm 20 years old now, which is a large number. And I never worried about art growing up because I kind of was like, oh, that's always been my thing. Like, I've always loved art and I've never been concerned with actually like making consecutive progress. I've just been like, oh, I'm just making it for fun. But as I've gotten older, it's been more about like skill and more like, if that makes sense, like more steps to it. It's not as fun anymore. So as you'll see on my Instagram, if you do decide to go over there, you know, the My Little Pony is the fun, childlike part that I have held on to, but I do feel this pressure as I get older to perform and to put out portraits and realistic stuff and to show off my skills and everything, because if I ever want to get into any sort of professional realm, then I'm going to have to show off more than, you know, My Little Pony. So I hope this video does somewhat well. Most likely it'll get about 30 views, but I don't really care because this is the whole point. This is the whole point of it for me. The trying to push myself beyond what I'm comfortable with and get in front of a camera, which I hate doing. This rattles me to my core every single time I sit down to do it. And actually using the resources that I have, which is this nice microphone. I have this good art setup. I've got the pencils and the pens and the markers and all the things. I've got all the tools, so I literally have no reason to just be like, ugh, I don't wanna. Why? Do it. Like, I could yell at myself all day long. One thing I am forgetting to mention is how thankful I am for everybody who's here, how blessed I am to have all of the supplies and all the ability I have to do everything I do, and yeah, that's just amazing. So yeah, go back to what I was saying. But yeah, the you know, getting older part definitely has a big part in all of this. Which I don't mean to make this video into like an emotional, like talking about growing up type of a thing. This is supposed to be an art video. And yeah, it's just, I hope you guys enjoyed. If you guys made it to this point, which is probably like 50 minutes in, thank you guys so much for sticking around. I don't know if I will continue to make videos like this. It depends on how this performs, because this took so long to edit and everything, but at the same time, I do want to push myself, but also it's kind of embarrassing sometimes. Yeah, let me know your thoughts, and if you want me to do more art challenges, please tell me. I'll do it for you. Alright guys, thank you. As three of us would say, au revoir? Au revoir? No, that's not it. What is it? Au revoir, my friends. Eh? Did I do it? I don't know. Au revoir, my friends. I'm just gonna put this on in the background. I need this right now. I'm stressed. Guess how much footage I have to edit through? 11 hours and 40 minutes.